Hi guys, I am Josh.
And I'm Ashley.
And we just went on the inaugural sailing of the Symphony of the Seas.
This is what a week on a cruise looks like.
It's for a private event.
We had never been on a cruise before, and we realized that some of you have never been on a cruise. We wanted to take a little bit of time and share with you some of the things we learned while on our first cruise.
We asked you guys to send us some questions on our YouTube, and you guys responded with lots of great stuff. So without further ado, let's get to our first question.
Is a cruise better as a couple, just the two of you, or with a bunch of friends or family?
I think that depends what you're going to the cruise for. If you're going to have a romantic getaway, definitely go with a couple.
Like a honeymoon?
If you want to go and just have some fun, go with some friends. And if you are into the sort of party scene, shall we say, a single cruise might just be your deal.
But I think a cruise, like for a family reunion, would be so much fun.
Ariel MUA asks, do you get bored easily, or are the entertainment options endless? I wouldn't say you'd get bored easily. There's certainly a ton of entertainment options. In fact, on our 7-day cruise, we did not go to all of them. I think that'd be very difficult. But let's say you did want to relax. There's plenty of opportunity and places to go relax as well. No, you wouldn't get bored, but you can certainly relax if you want to.
Kintu Thacker asks at Windjammer or the other restaurants on the ship that are complimentary if they have vegetarian options, and yes, they do. Vegetarian options are at all of them. Specifically, Solarium is the best, and they have a whole salad section for you to choose from. And I probably could have eaten those salads just as a whole meal because there's so many and they're delicious.
Naomi Baraklau asks, is there a babysitter service if parents want to have a date night on the cruise? Yes, in fact there is. There's a whole children's section. You can drop your kids off there. I'm not sure of the cost of it or if it's included. You may want to check into that, but it is available for sure.
Ted Garman asks, how would you feel about a several-day cruise? Like a repositioning cruise? Lots to do, or would you get burnt out? Probably wouldn't do that, but we have had a lot of friends who have, and they really enjoyed it. So I think that it just depends on what your reasoning is to go. If you have a book you want to read, or if you want to get a tan, there'll be plenty of time for that. I would not mind that, but I could see where people could get cabin fever.
Nick's Living at the Tip asks, how can you make the most of your time on a big cruise? Would you do anything differently if you went again? I think it depends on what your focus of the cruise is, and I think you should make that distinction before you go on the cruise. Do you want to see a bunch of shows and stay on the ship? Do you want to experience the pools, or do you want to go see excursions and sights? I think it's important to make that distinction unless you're on a very long cruise, because time gets away from you really fast.
Which just means do planning ahead of time. Know what's available and what you're interested in doing.
Or just relax and don't plan anything.
Kendra F asks if we have any packing tips for going on a cruise. For one, if you're gonna go exploring off the ship, bring some really comfortable shoes. You don't have to be a part of the formal nights, but a lot of people do on the ship.
And it's fun.
Yeah, so pack for those formal nights if you're interested in that. We didn't participate in any of the formal nights because we didn't anticipate them, but now we know for our next cruise, and it would be definitely something fun to do in the future.
Leo F asks, when are you going again? As soon as possible? I don't know. To be honest, I had a really fun time. I think I was a little grumpy at first because I was like, you have to be on the ship. But then you just relax and you're like, okay, think about it like vacation mode, which isn't usually how we've been traveling the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So I had to shift my mind a little bit.
We were also there to work, so we had that also in mind.
Yep.
But
I think if you go for vacation mode, for sure, I would definitely do it again because I could use a vacation.
And lastly, several of you seemed to be interested in my seasickness because I do get specifically motion sickness while traveling.
And I think a lot of you do as well.
Very common, but yeah, we had so many people asking about how I deal with the seasickness. A lot of people have said that you may not even feel the rocks. I did one night feel a little bit seasick because of the rocking. Just prepare ahead of time. Know that it's something that you deal with. Think about how you can fight the sickness before it actually comes on. So I've tried the sea bands. I don't really like the sea bands. I have never done the patch, but would like to try. But something that I do to prevent from getting really motion sicknessy is I love these ginger chews. I take them everywhere I go. Not only on the ship should you guys take these if you get a little sick, but in Europe, that when you go on excursions and stuff, you'll end up on a bus for a long period of time, or the roads are really, really windy. So I would take these everywhere, and I just pop them before we go on a windy, long trip.
So there will be some rocking. Don't believe the hype. There will actually be some rocking.
You will notice it.
But
yeah,
it may be insignificant enough that you can still have a great time.
I normally cannot sit backwards. I normally cannot be looking down, whether I'm on a bus, train, pretty severe, but I did fine. And I would encourage you guys not to be afraid to go on cruises because you're afraid of getting seasick. Just prepare ahead of time.
That just about wraps up our time here. You saw a quick glimpse of our time on the ship. We answered a bunch of your questions about sailing on the Symphony of the Seas. And I think, based on our experience, we can't recommend sailing with Royal Caribbean and Symphony of the Seas. Of course, that is our only experience with sailing so far, but I think we had a good time.
It was awesome. If you guys haven't seen, we have a whole playlist of all our different videos that we made while on the ship, and we tried our best to give you as much information as we could while we were sailing. We do a lot of vlogs normally, but we wanted to share with you guys just the best way for you to prepare and enjoy your cruise.
Yeah, so I guess once again, thank you so much to Royal Caribbean International for having us. We had a fantastic time, and thank you guys so much for watching with such veracity these videos. You guys really enjoyed cruising, it seems, so hopefully we can do this again soon.
We really hope so. I hope we encourage you to get out and travel, and we'll see you in the next video, which will be in Tokyo, Japan. Bye!
Bye.